So now that we're well into fall, y'all know what that means. Bonfires. Find out what 7 alluring fragrances I have that will ignite your bonfire for this fall right after this, so stay tuned. The first fragrance on this list is from the house of Emporio Armani. It's pretty much my favorite fragrance within the line. I haven't tried the new amber, I haven't tried the tobacco, but I did have oud and I do have leather as well. But the fragrance that I'm talking about from the house of Emporio Armani is Strong With You, Absolutely. The 3 main characteristics of this fragrance is warm and spicy with a refined sweetness. It's inviting and sensual, perfect for intimate gatherings, and it's long lasting with a cozy vibe, perfect for fall evenings. The 3 main notes: vanilla, chestnut, and rum. It's been a while since I've worn this fragrance, and had I not worn another fragrance in this list to the most recent bonfires that I went to, this is definitely what I would have picked for had the night been cooler. It was fairly cold outside, but I feel like this will be much more suitable for those intimate settings. So maybe if you're with your significant other, or maybe you're having a date around a bonfire, people do that, okay? People do that. Or anything of that nature, I think this fragrance will be great by the fireplace. Anywhere where you have a fire in the background and you're having a nice intimate conversation with someone, I think this fragrance will be great for that, okay? It's warm, rich, and sweet, and a little bit of boozy from the rum in here. The chestnut gives it a nice, warm, nutty accord, and the vanilla just makes it nice and sensual and sweet. If you like vanilla fragrances, this will be a great scent for you to try for this fall around the bonfire. I mean, the last few times I've worn this, people have stopped me to ask me exactly what I'm wearing. I remember I wore this in a grocery store. The woman who worked there, she asked me what I was wearing, and I made it around the aisle, and she came back to ask me exactly what it was again because she had forgot to write the name down. This is that fragrance that will have people asking you what you're wearing. Again, this is perfect for a fall, warm evening around the bonfire. From the house of Emporio Armani, that's Stronger With You, Absolutely. And I do love the color gradation of this bottle. Next up on the list, this is one of the most recent releases from this line, and honestly, I gotta say that I like it a lot better than the fragrance from this line that a lot of people seem to love. Me, this is right up my alley. It's definitely sweet, it's definitely inviting, and it definitely captures people's attention, all right? So the fragrance I'm talking about is from the house of Jean Paul Gaultier. It's Le Male Elixir. I love the all gold texturized bottle that this has versus the all blacked out bottle with the Le Parfum, which is a lot of people's favorites, but this has grown to definitely be my favorite. This is one fragrance that I have been waiting to wear once fall rolled around, especially winter. I love the way this smells. The 3 main characteristics of this fragrance: it's bold and seductive with a fresh twist. It's classic yet modern, celebrating masculinity. And lastly, it's rich and inviting, making it ideal for date nights. Its 3 main notes: cardamom, honey, and tobacco. Now I will say, this fragrance reminded me quite a bit of Naxos from Xerjoff. Now I'm sure a lot of people will say that Naxos has better quality, but I feel like if you're trying to get that scent profile on a budget, this would definitely get you in the round because it does have the honey in there, it does have the tobacco, and it also has the lavender in there as well, okay? But this, it's not as smooth as Naxos, I will give it that, but it's not to say that it isn't smooth in its own right. This is definitely seductive, this is definitely sexy, so if you're planning on going out and maybe making a name for yourself and getting people to draw their attention towards you, this is definitely a fragrance that will do so. Like I said, with it being warm and inviting, will make it perfect for being around a bonfire with somebody who, again, if you're in an intimate setting, this will allure that person more towards you and into your conversation. Again, I like this more than I like the Le Parfum, which I actually just got rid of, but this one, it just speaks to me a lot more. But I will say that if you pick this fragrance up, I guarantee that you will like it and others will too, especially if you're in a cozy setting around a bonfire. So from the house of Jean Paul Gaultier, the Le Male Elixir. The next fragrance on this list came out last year, but they just came out with a recent flanker in this line, which I think is dark leather. But honestly, all the fragrances in this line I seem to have loved. But with this one, I do think this is a great contribution to the line. The fragrance that I'm talking about is from the house of Viktor and Rolf. That's Spice Bomb Infrared Eau de Parfum. Its three main characteristics are intense and fiery with a strong personality. It's balanced between sweet and smoky elements. And lastly, it's captivating and memorable, perfect for cooler evenings. Its three main notes: chili, pepper, and saffron. Now, I love the original EDP so much so that I bought a backup bottle, because I originally bought a 60 ml bottle. But then I bought a backup bottle of a 90 ml bottle. I keep forgetting that these aren't 100 ml bottles, these are 90 ml bottles. I wish we can just get that extra 10 mil. But that said, the EDP is something special as well. But I do like the more intense, the more smoky, the more bold scent profile that this has to offer. I love Spice Bomb. If you're looking to make a name for yourself, if you're looking to capture attention, any flanker from the Spice Bomb line will do, especially this one. A lot of the Spice Bomb flankers are rich and sweet, except for the Night Vision EDT. That's more almost bubblegummy sweet, and it does in a sense have like a shower gel facet to it. But with the EDT Infrared, it was a knockout of the park for me. Again, I bought a backup bottle, and I for sure picked this up as soon as this dropped. And I love wearing this fragrance, especially when you're bundled up. And I'm positive this will fare well around the bonfire in the evening this fall. So from the house of Viktor and Rolf, that's Spice Bomb Infrared EDP. The next fragrance on this list is a coffee fragrance. I love me a fragrance with the coffee note. I'm a big connoisseur of coffee, so much so that I have a coffee bar that I spent more money on it than I probably should have, but no regrets, right? No, for real. I have so many different flavors of different coffees from different brands, in tea as well. It's ridiculous, but I can tell you I can be caffeinated for, let's see, all of 2025 if I stop buying coffee today. But that said, this fragrance took me by surprise. It sounded great and it sounded intriguing whenever I first heard about it, especially when I've seen other reviewers review this fragrance. But when I first got my hands on it, it blew my socks off, which I normally don't say it blew my socks off, but that's how great this fragrance is. From the house of Mancera, that's Amore Cafe. Three main characteristics for this fragrance are: it's warm and inviting, reflecting the essence of coffee. It's rich and complex, great for fall ambiance. And lastly, unique and bold, standing out in the crowd. Its three main notes: amaretto, coffee, and ice cream. Again, whenever I got my hands on this fragrance, it definitely took me aback. I knew I had the note of ice cream in there, but I had to get my nose on it to see how that ice cream note paired with the coffee, and let me tell you, it's blended beautifully. To me, this is one of the creative sides of Mancera. This is showing you that Mancera can be as creative gets. It's rich, it's bold, it's sweet, it's intriguing, it's alluring. Y'all know that feeling whenever you step into a coffee shop and that rich, bold coffee aroma just hits you in the face, but in a good way? That's what you get from this fragrance, mixed with the brown sugar, mixed with the vanilla. The amaretto note in here kind of gives it that nice cherry liqueur booziness that just is essentially the cherry on top when it comes to this fragrance. And that is why, with this fragrance being as warm, bold, sweet, and alluring as it is, I think it will make a perfect fragrance around the bonfire this fall. From the house of Mancera, that's Amore Cafe. The next fragrance on this list is the fragrance that I wore when I mentioned earlier of going to my wife's friend annual bonfire that they have each October. I've only been to one other one, but I know that they've done it a few times in the past. And each time that I go, it's a blast. I will say that. Everyone is sitting around enjoying each other's company. They made chili this time, as well as the crock pot chicken and dumplings, which was pretty good, which so much so it inspired me to try my own hand at crock pot chicken and dumplings. But that said, they had a bonfire that night. They had s'mores to go with that bonfire. And this fragrance is what I wore when attending that event. From the house of Paco Rabanne, it's Invictus Victory Elixir. Now this is the second elixir on this list, and to be honest, I'm quite fond of the elixirs. There's a few other lines or flankers that I think could stand to use the elixir upgrade, if you ask me. But I will say that this is the fragrance that I wore. So the three main characteristics of this fragrance: powerful and energizing with a fresh character, it's confident and magnetic, invoking a sense of triumph, and lastly, it's richly aromatic, offering a touch of sophistication. The three main notes are grapefruit, juniper berries, and tonka bean. Again, I wore this fragrance to that event and I loved it so much so that I wore it the next day when I went grocery shopping. Again, it has a freshness to it, it's sweet, it's sexy, and it's just smooth. I love how smooth this fragrance is, and honestly, I forget just how much I love this fragrance until I wear it again. I can't remember exactly why I picked this fragrance out of all the others from this list to wear that night, but I'm glad that I chose this fragrance because it knocked it out the park. I will say that whenever my wife got back in the car when we were leaving for the night, she did compliment me on this fragrance, meaning this fragrance mixed in with that bonfire smoke made an excellent aroma for my wife to compliment on. So again, I think this fragrance will be a great fragrance to wear around a bonfire this fall. So from the house of Paco Rabanne, that's Invictus Victory Elixir. Quite a mouthful, I will say that much. Well, I got another elixir for y'all. And I can't say that though I don't have every fragrance from this line, that between the two that I do have, I like this one the best. So from the house of Dior, that's Dior Sauvage Elixir. I just love seeing the word elixir. Do y'all? Let me know in the comment section. The three main characteristics for this fragrance: it's rugged and earthy, embodying the spirit of the wild. It's deeply aromatic with a captivating aura. And lastly, it's versatile for day and night wear, appealing to various occasions. The three main notes are grapefruit, spicy notes, and resin. Yeah, I definitely like this more than the EDT. That's the only fragrance that I have from this line. And I will say that I have smelled the parfum on the skin of someone else. But I will say, when it comes to elixir, not that the EDT, EDP, or the parfum are juvenile in any way, but this is maturity in a bottle as well. I really think that this is really going to capture attention. I know I said that with the rest of the fragrances on this list, but that's why I chose each fragrance on this list, because each one are captivating in their own right. This one especially. It's very spicy, it's very rich, and moving in my opinion. This is something to me that revitalized the Dior Sauvage line, because it got to a point to where everybody and their brother and their cousin and their cousin's dad and so on and so forth was wearing Sauvage. It was kind of like the Acquadigio EDT whenever it had its reign, you know what I mean? But this one, again, it revitalized that line to bring something new and exciting and I guess bold. I would say bold is the theme of this video, other than the bonfires. I think this fragrance has so much character, and again, this is great for day and night occasions. This fragrance is great for meeting up with friends for a cup of coffee or inviting people over to hang out around the bonfire. From the house of Dior, that's Dior Sauvage Elixir. And last but not least on this list, this isn't my favorite from the line. For me, it's a good dumb reach. I hate to refer to it as a dumb reach, but it is great for the fall time whenever you're looking for something to just throw on, as well as if you're looking to charm somebody. So the fragrance I'm talking about is from the house of Azzaro. That's the Most Wanted Parfum. I really do love that gradation from the amber to the black. It's such a sexy looking bottle in my opinion. That said, its characteristics are: it's intensely charismatic and alluring, it's warm and spicy with a modern edge, it's confidently bold, perfect for setting the mood, and its three main notes are toffee, amber, and cinnamon. Now again, this isn't my favorite flanker from the line. My favorite is the Wanted by Night. I love the way that smells, very fruity, very smoky, very sweet. But this one is rich, bold, sweet, ambery profile. Just, again, does it for me when I'm in a hurry and I can just throw it on because I know it's gonna work. Smells great. This is definitely an alluring scent. And again, I think this will be a great fragrance around the bonfire because it does have a nice, rich, warm, bold profile. I have heard some people say that they get like a grape-ish, grape soda vibe from it when smelling it at first, right off the atomizer or upon this initial spray. And I can see where they're coming from when they say that, because it does have like this almost grapey accord to it. But then once it settles down, you get the vanilla, you get the amber, you get the toffee, you get the cinnamon as well. Very skillfully done in my opinion. It's definitely smooth, and I would, in my opinion, put this above the original, The Most Wanted. Okay, I smell that on a friend, and that reminds me that I like this more than The Most Wanted. And as you can see, like, this has become a nice dumb reach because I am putting a nice dent into this fragrance. I do think that this will be a great fragrance around the bonfire this fall from the house of Azzaro. That's The Most Wanted Parfum. And I always got to mention that nice revolver on the top. Cheesy, but I love it. I love it. Well, that's going to do it for me. Let me know in the comments what y'all thought about this video, and if y'all agree with the fragrances that I picked that will be great around the bonfire, okay? And if y'all have any fragrances that you've worn around the bonfire that you notice has paired well with that nice rich bonfire smoke, let me know in the comments. I'm very much interested. And that said, it's time for a few shout outs, okay? I'm gonna post each of these comments up on the screen so y'all can have the time to read them, because I do appreciate you all taking the time out to comment on my videos. That means a lot to me, and I do like responding. And if I don't respond to you that day, I will respond to you another day, but be sure that I will respond to you. So with that being said, I would like to take this time to read off the certified loungers of today's video. Thomas Barker, 967, No Hey Banda, 3061, Robert Winkler, 8444, Rohita Lawat, 1235. Sorry, I had practice pronouncing that name. I had the hardest time figuring out how to pronounce that name, and I'm sorry if I butchered it, but but I still appreciate your viewership, you commenting. So for that, you all get the button, and you all are now certified loungers. So shout out to you all. Appreciate y'all's viewership, appreciate y'all's subscription. So make sure you subscribe and like and comment on the video if you would like to become a certified lounger. So with that being said, I'm going to go ahead and get out of here, and I'm going to catch y'all in the next one, all right? Peace.